what I've heard about them as a couple is that they've been living separate lives for a very long time. So they together, but they living separate.
What if everything you believed about Beyonce and Jay-Z's marriage was a lie?
Women who are supporting Cassie, who maybe have some stories about you that might feel a bit similar, you need to be put on mute. This is not your time. Not JayZ.
And he was working with R. Kelly, and they were making so many records together. You know, they made all those records together. They both, Aaliyah, they shared so much in common.
For years, they've been seen as music's royal couple, untouchable, unstoppable, and unbreakable.
Maybe she doesn't know.
She know. Beyonce doesn't know.
Yeah, I don't think Beyonce.
But behind the flawless Instagram photos and sold-out world tours, something darker might have been brewing. And now, it's bubbling to the surface.
Yeah, Beyonce's on. She's been on them for a long time, and you keep her that way.
I'm gonna tell them while Johnny puts a beat, or you'll never know what it is, but I want you to see their reactions. Ooh. And that's why I go back, we're friends. Can you imagine had I put that on Hollywood Live? Oh, there's one more thing. Beat this, Johnny.
Woo!
Whispers are turning into roars. And Jason Lee, yes, the same Jason Lee who was publicly clowned for shading Beyonce after she snubbed him, may have known the truth all along. He's been dropping cryptic hints, throwing subliminal shade. And now fans are connecting the dots between his warning and the storm that seems to be headed straight for the Carters. But this drama goes way deeper than a messy marriage. It snakes through long-buried rumors, disturbing past relationships, and one explosive connection to none other than Diddy. With lawsuits flying and names being dragged through the mud, Beyonce might be scrambling to distance herself, not just from Jay, but from everything tied to him. Could this be the reason she's suddenly launching new business ventures, dropping solo projects, and looking more serious than ever in public? Is Beyonce preparing to escape? Or is she just as caught up in this mess as everyone else? From alleged betrayals to shocking industry secrets, buckle up, because what you're about to hear could shake the entire foundation of Hollywood's most powerful couple. Long before the rumors about Beyonce and Jay-Z's separation gained traction, Jason Lee was already stirring the pot. It all started when Beyonce hosted her exclusive Renaissance movie premiere in London. The event was packed with influencers, A-listers, and celebs from all corners of entertainment, except Jason Lee. Despite claiming he spent over $40,000 supporting Beyonce's tour, merch, and movement, Jason found himself left off the guest list, and he didn't take it quietly. Instead, he went on air blasting Beyonce for ignoring black media and accused her of prioritizing social media influencers over real culture builders. But here's where things turn sinister. Jason dropped a bomb, suggesting he had receipts that could expose Beyonce and Jay-Z's real relationship. Unless Queen Bee helped him land an interview with Kelly Rowland. Was it clout chasing? At the time, most fans thought so. But now, in the light of new drama, people are wondering, did Jason actually have the tea the whole time? Jason's fury wasn't just about missing a party. According to him, it was a blatant sign of disrespect, especially after the loyalty and money he claims to have poured into Beyonce's brand. He even said, "I shared the experience with friends. I did a lot for that movement, but when the invites went out, I was nowhere to be found." That's when Jason started making veiled threats, suggesting that he could say things that would break the internet. Fans laughed, but he didn't back down. During an episode of his show, Jason even teased that the only thing stopping him from revealing everything was if Beyonce did the right thing and helped him book Kelly. Viewers could feel the tension. Even his co-hosts looked frozen. The implication? He was sitting on real receipts. And the Queen might have had something to hide. Rumors have swirled for years that Beyonce and Jay-Z weren't exactly living in marital bliss. Industry insiders whispered that they'd been living separate lives, appearing united for public image but emotionally distant behind the scenes. Some even claim Beyonce may not have known everything happening in Jay-Z's world, particularly when it came to his business ties and late-night movements. And now, with the Jason Lee drama bubbling up and new divorce whispers circling, fans are saying, "He told us. We just didn't listen." Everything shifted when Diddy's world began crumbling. After Cassie filed her explosive lawsuit accusing the mogul of years of abuse, other victims started stepping forward. And suddenly, Jay-Z's name started popping up. Not as a co-defendant, but as a longtime associate who may have known more than he let on. Remember, Jay-Z and Diddy were brothers in arms in the industry. Diddy once said only two people could call him Sean, his mother and Jay-Z. That level of closeness doesn't come without some shared skeletons. Insiders say Beyonce was blindsided when she learned about Jay's deep involvement with Diddy behind the scenes. Allegedly, Jay was part of several shady business deals with Diddy, and with lawsuits flying, Queen Bee wants no part of it. Could this be why she's suddenly launching new solo ventures and creating her own financial empire? If there's anyone who doesn't hold back, it's Jaguar Wright. She's been one of the loudest voices claiming that Jay-Z's public persona is a mask, and that behind the scenes, he's even worse than Diddy. In interviews, Jaguar says Jay-Z is calculated, patient, and dangerous. She even suggested that Beyonce isn't just in a bad marriage, she's trapped in a gilded cage. Jaguar also made the shocking claim that Jay has allegedly kept Beyonce under influence, mentally and emotionally, through control tactics. Even Beyonce's former bodyguard, Uncle Ron, backed this narrative, saying Jay calls all the shots in her world. Are we witnessing Beyonce's quiet rebellion? Let's rewind. JayZ once said he met Beyonce 10 years before they started dating. That timeline would put her at just 15 or 16 years old, while Jay was already 28. Even worse. Rumors have circulated for years that Jay was romantically linked to Foxy Brown and Aaliyah, both underage at the time. Fans are now reanalyzing old interviews and seeing red flags everywhere. With Diddy already being exposed for grooming Cassie when she was just 19, people are wondering, was Jay guilty of the same pattern? Earlier this year, Jay-Z got on stage at the Grammys and finally called out the Recording Academy for snubbing Beyonce year after year. It should have been a touching moment, but instead fans felt something was off. He didn't call her by name. He didn't say my wife. He referred to her as this young lady. Beyonce's body language looked stiff, and within minutes of the speech ending, she and Blue Ivy dipped out of the building. Why deliver a passionate defense and then immediately leave? Fans are calling it damage control, a PR move meant to remind the public he's still Team Beyonce, while behind the scenes, their marriage may be cracking. While Jay-Z has stayed mostly silent, Beyonce has been working overtime. She launched her hair care line, started dropping solo visuals, and is expanding her business footprint faster than ever. Some believe it's not just a power move, it's a financial escape plan. If Jay-Z's name gets dragged further into the Diddy lawsuits, Beyonce's empire could take a hit. And based on how strategic she's been her whole career, she's not about to let that happen. Which brings us back to Jason Lee. Was he really just bitter about a party invite? Or did he see this storm coming before any of us did? With everything that's unfolded, from Beyonce's distance to Jay's shady friendships to Diddy's lawsuits, Jason's words don't sound like gossip anymore. They sound like a warning. And here's the thing, Jason hasn't spilled everything yet. Jay-Z has a long-standing reputation for staying quiet, even when chaos erupts around him. When the R. Kelly scandal blew up, most artists distanced themselves. Jay didn't. Instead, he continued collaborating with him, even touring together during their Best of Both Worlds project. And when people raised eyebrows, Jay remained stone-faced. Now fans wonder, was he protecting a friend or protecting himself? That same silence is playing out now with the Diddy situation. No public statement, no interviews, just silence. And to some, that speaks volumes. Insiders say Diddy might be keeping receipts, not just on his own actions, but on others too. And when his empire started to crumble, he allegedly began warning his inner circle. In an interview, Diddy made a cryptic statement about how only his mom and Jay-Z can call him Sean. Fans now think that wasn't affection. It was a warning. If Diddy truly has the power to bring others down with him, Jay-Z may be next in the blast zone. Jay-Z didn't just build an empire with Beyonce, he became one of the most powerful figures in music. He's brokered billion-dollar deals, created platforms like Tidal, and shaped careers across rap, pop, and sports. But behind the success are whispers of ruthless moves. Some say he used alliances and secrets as leverage to climb higher. And now, the people he once stepped on may be ready to expose everything. While Jay may be silent, Beyonce is always several steps ahead. Fans noticed how she strategically dropped her Renaissance visuals just as the Diddy situation intensified. She also launched new branding moves, and her team has gone into tight lockdown. No press, no mistakes. She's distancing herself fast, and every move looks like a quiet preparation for the fallout. She's not just surviving this, she's trying to win it. Cassie's lawsuit against Diddy didn't just impact him, it set off a domino effect across the industry. Now, people are reevaluating other power couples and questioning how much we really know about their relationships. The idea that Beyonce could be controlled, silenced, or manipulated by Jay-Z suddenly feels more believable. If it happened to Cassie, could it be happening to Beyonce? Behind the scenes, there's talk that Beyonce is planning a full rebrand, cleaner, freer, and separate from the Carters. She's leaning into beauty, health, motherhood, and female empowerment. Less about being Mrs. Carter, more about Queen Bey, solo. This isn't just a rebrand. It could be a warning shot that the end of her marriage is near. Jason Lee has gone quiet lately, but his threat still hangs heavy. He teased that he had something that would shut the internet down. Was it a bluff? Or is he waiting for the perfect moment to release it? Some believe he's negotiating behind the scenes. Others think he's been silenced. But if he does talk, he could flip the industry on its head. From hidden alliances to explosive secrets, the cracks in the Carter empire are growing wider by the day. Diddy's downfall may have been the match. But Jason Lee, he might be holding the fuse. One question remains: is Beyonce already out the door? Or is she fighting to protect more than just herself? One thing is clear, this isn't over, not even close. Let's hear it in the comments. Do you think Jason's silence is a warning? Is Beyonce preparing for the biggest celebrity split of the decade? Or is this just another storm they'll survive? Either way, we're watching the most powerful couple in music like never before. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe and notification bell, because if the tea spills, you'll want to be here when it does.